everybody, and welcome to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, tell a friend. On the docket today, we have The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 5, She by Herself. My goodness, what a shady title, but it was quite accurate. Hey, Jamal.
Hey.
All right, so let's just jump right into this. It's a quick summary of what happened. We start the episode off back at dinner. We actually get an apology out of Drew to Sheree for putting her hands in her face. And then Sheree digs into Candy, who admits where she did wrong and gave a proper apology, and clap to Kenya, who said, Drew, take note of how it's done. I thought it was fine. Next up, we see Kenya getting a text from Mark that is trying to give her a storyline. Then Marlo digs into Candy about all the sex stuff and she wants it toned down. And I don't think Candy's going to lose free promotion because of you. It's day 2. We see Candy meeting with the play executives. Next thing, we see Sonia and Kenya having a little bonding session. Let's see. And we have the beginning of Sonia's storyline where she's having problems with Drew's authenticity. That's it. Next, we see Candy has arranged for some sort of get-together before the play, I guess. And they talk about who's the most famous person that you hit on. Candy was with Gerald Levert. Drew was with the king of the NBA, side-eye. Marlo was with Gene Simmons. Kenya was with Prince. And then they asked Sheree, where's Tyrone? I guess no famous people for her other than Bob. They go to the play. I thought which was one of the cutest moments of the episode. Marlo on that city bike. Epic.
Right? She's like, I gotta get somewhere. Can you watch my bike? Can you watch my bike?
Who was that person? I hope they were part of the crew, or else she's paying for that. After the play, they congratulate Candy. Candy arranges for a little pajama party. Kenya apologizes to Ralph for how she spoke to him at the first dinner. And then Todd takes the boys out. The ladies are left alone. And that's where they dig into Drew. Well, first Sonia tries to say something, but it kind of got lost in the sauce. But then the rest of the ladies come to her rescue and start asking Drew questions about her business. Lastly, it's day 3. Everybody's going home except Cherie, who's going over to Philadelphia to meet Tyrone. She waits for over an hour and a half, waiting in vain, for someone who does not show up. And Kenya, of all people, consoles her. Weird. But yeah, towards the end, it became love after lockup. Hey,
Pretty
Susan.
Much. Hey, Susan. So to me, there was only really 2 main points of this episode that I want to touch on and get your thoughts. The first one is Drew's business, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, you know what? I agree with the ladies, because how are you going to have a weight loss business, right? When you had a full mommy makeover. Granted, she's not lying about it. I give her credit for that, but that's like no different than the Kardashians starting a weight loss business.
Here's my biggest issue with it. We keep on saying that it's Drew's business, but it's not. She's just a paid spokesperson.
Stop. Not a paid spokesperson.
But it's true. And even she admitted it. Did you hear her when she said, I make lots of money off of this? When they started bringing up like Ponzi scheme or pyramid scheme or something,
baby, you know,
I see somebody with an audit in the future.
You know why? Because like Beachbody and all those people, they're looking at it in those terms.
Yeah.
And here's what else she told herself is when she said, "What's her name? Diane. What's the numbers? That's your side of the business." I'm like, oh.
It was just that
Oh,
again, paid spokesperson. She knows nothing about this. She knows nothing about nothing.
it's true because this was just bad, and I like I wasn't really upset with her, not mad, but I just don't understand how you are trying to push this weight loss, drop it with Drew. Drew, it should be drop it with Dr. Bob or whoever did your surgery. Because if we're being
Mm-hmm.
honest, that's what happened. She did not
Yeah.
drop it on her own. And then when they questioned her, they're like, "Well, what was this?" She's like, "Well, I had a hernia. I had a hernia, and
And the
that's why."
endometriosis and the
Yeah,
this and the that. Girl, you got sucked and tucked.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. After having kids, ladies, if y'all want to get you a mommy makeover, I say do it because it makes you feel better about yourself and you're not having more children. Do it. Like your body goes through a lot of trauma having children, let alone multiple. Forget that. That's why men do not have children. I'm sorry. If men have to give birth, the world will be barren. That's just the truth, in my opinion.
Well, I don't even think you have to like wait for kids. Like even if you don't have kids, if there's something about you that you don't like and you do the research and you know, go to a doctor that makes you feel comfortable and you have the money, do you?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
The
do
reason why
you?
I said mommy because she
Oh,
had
in
the
her
mommy make.
situation.
Mm,
Mm.
she had the mommy makeover.
But she had like everything. She had breasts, stomach, butt,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Yeah, I know a couple of ladies who have it, and it's because like they all had multiple children. When I say
Mhm,
multiple, I mean over three,
mhm,
and they breastfed,
mhm,
and after all that kind of goes on, like
mhm.
you've heard the stories, like stuff just
Yeah, everything relocates.
right. So they at like one lady, she said after her last child, I think
Mhm.
with her this is her it was number five after her fifth. you know,
Wow.
yeah, after the fifth, the husband's like, okay, so when you gonna schedule the surgery? He's all, cause this is, because he said he wanted one more child, and she agreed because she kind of wanted one more, and he's like, I know how you've been feeling, so he literally they budgeted for her mommy makeover, everything.
Oh,
They
that's
did
nice.
yeah, they did the research, they did this and did that because she said she knew she was gonna need one because she has her mother's body, and her mother's body kind of did the same thing. So she wanted to be prepared.
So that's kind of like Bill and Jennifer from Real Housewives of New Jersey. She,
Mm-hmm.
after 5 kids, well, she's still
Mm-hmm.
ongoing with her mommy makeover in
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yep. They did the full thing. They did it. They didn't do
Mhm,
everything at one time. Of course, they spaced the surgeries out so she could heal
mhm.
properly. But yeah, because you know, when you're in your mid 30s and you've had 5 kids, because she was in her mid 30s, mid 30s, 5 kids, like you still like in your prime. You still want to look
Mhm.
good, and there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that. But I just have a problem with her promoting weight loss when she didn't lose the weight on her own because
But
that's
did
giving
she
it.
lose the weight though? Because those shady before and after pictures, I didn't see a difference.
Well, we're gonna say she lost. We're gonna say okay. We won't say she lost. I'm saying what I'm saying. She didn't really lose weight. She just had stuff. She had surgery, and there's nothing wrong with the surgery. Again, just don't put your face on a weight loss program when you didn't lose the weight via the program. Is my thing.
Yeah.
Like
What's the name of her surgeon? Mental note, not go to him.
if she said paid sponsorship, I would be all for it.
Right, but that's
Hmm.
how it should be.
Yeah.
And if I were the owner of that business, that lady, I would reconsider having Drew as my paid spokesperson because she's not very good at it.
Right. Because you know what? When you go out, she's still eating the same way.
And she
There's no
can't do
diet.
a squat.
There's no diet adjustments.
But they were talking about that. They were like they didn't understand the dietary, like Sanya, who's a professional athlete, or
Right.
and is married to one. She knows about diet. She knows about exercise regimes. She knows about like physical fitness,
Right.
and she's the one who really has problems with it. And then Kenya also can't understand it, and Candy can't understand it from the business setup.
Right.
She's like, "What's Candy? You always want to know where the money coming from."
Right.
And I think she does that to try to distance herself if it's shady.
And then they could have done swimming with Sonya,
Mhm.
or shaking it with Sheree, because Sheree is
Sheree's
she's
serious with her physical fitness.
and that's my thing. We see Sheree in the gym. Sheree's always been in the gym since she started on the show, and it's always
Mhm.
been a passion of hers. So I'm like, y'all could have got Sheree, who's like a regular, you could say a regular woman who works out and serious about it. You could have got her versus Drew.
But here's the thing. Remember what Sheree says. Sheree knows her worth, and she's not going to work for pennies on the dollar. And it
Mm-hmm.
just seems like Drew's scratching for pennies.
I got you. So yeah, that's what I had to say on that one. It didn't make me feel uncomfortable. I'm not mad. It's just like this is not, you're not doing it properly. It should be, you should just call. I'm a paid sponsor. I believe in this, and I'm going to use this to lose more weight.
What did you think? Okay, when the other part that really piqued my interest was when they asked the question, who was the most famous person you that you hit on?
Mm-hmm.
And Drew, again, the king of the NBA, but they kept
Twitter was
on
mad.
bleeping out names.
Twitter was mad with that one. Twitter was not happy.
But Kenya
She
was like, y'all heard that wrong. She meant Laquan.
Laquan, because somebody even said, like, haven't he been with his wife since high
Sonya.
school? That was
Sonya.
Sonya, right?
Mm-hmm. Sonya's like, the timeline ain't adding up. Like, he been with his
Mm-mm.
wife since high school. What are you talking about?
And Bravo bleeped that out so they don't get sued.
Well, he put that thing in the paper for his wife. Was it in the paper or was it on Instagram? I know I saw it on Instagram, but he's been making declarations for his wife.
Oh, and Mrs. LeBron don't play no games. I don't know how she even thought, pursed her lips to even say that. Ma'am, don't be doing stuff like that.
Wow.
I'm surprised LeBron didn't call Bravo, like, she needs to go, and they cut
He
all
ain't
her
got
scenes
time
out.
for that. He ain't got time for that. But that was interesting. Like everything that Drew does is really problematic.
But that also goes back to what Sonya's issues are with her, the
Yes.
authenticity.
And I think that's like she couldn't get it out this time. And I agree with her when she said, I wasn't going to say it in front of all of your assistants in your
That would be
room.
even worse than the girls, in my opinion.
Exactly, because they work for you. And you
Right.
already have a problem with an assistant that can't keep his mouth shut. I'm not going to talk in front of them. But I hope I hope Sonya gets herself together enough to explain, because I think they're valid concerns. Um, and in the preview, when Sonya's mother was like, she don't want none of this, Drew, take note.
Right.
They roll deep.
Mama was not playing no games. I was like, uh-oh. Because she said, pay you no mind, pay you no mind. She don't want none of this. I was like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Anything else happen on this?
the only other key part for me was, Sheree sitting there waiting on
Oh,
Tyrone, and then
yes.
like all that, and then the producers had to come tell her that we don't know where he is, and it could be a parole violation, something like that. And I felt bad for her. And this time around, so far, I'm liking Sheree a lot. I'm liking her a lot.
Yes, except for these scenes.
It was so
Because
sad.
I hope, like she was telling that lady at the end of the episode, that she is done. I hope that is
Mm-hmm.
true, because this is a big platform to get embarrassed on.
Right. And Kenya gave her great advice. Do not call him.
Hold your head up, look pretty, get to that airport, and come home.
I mean, I'm liking this Kenya and Sheree dynamic.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
liking this Kenya Sheree dynamic. I'm liking, again, everybody but Drew. I
Mhm.
mean Candy. I like Candy. It's like Candy's more active.
Did you see the meltdown that happened between yesterday and today
Which
regarding
meltdown?
Marlo getting interviewed with um, the former producer.
Rodney King? No, Rodney King.
Not Rodney
King?
King. Yes, the King.
Yeah,
Him, and
yeah.
said
Carlos
that
King. Carlos
Carlos
King.
King. Yes, and said that Candy fucked herself out of Atlanta. And Candy's response.
What was the response? I haven't seen anything. I've been.
She's getting on my motherfucking nerves. And I sort of quoted. She's activated. And the voice was wavering, and you could tell the tears was coming. She was pissed. The reporter caught her on a red carpet, and she asked that question, and Candy gave a response.
I'm looking at Marlo. Marlo, you just got here.
Candy brought the receipts.
Oh, of course Candy did.
Yeah, yeah.
I can find this on Instagram, I hope.
Twitter, Instagram. The
Okay.
Jasmine brand, I think, has on a shortened version of it, but it
Okay.
was oh my god, I'm trying to figure out. I'll remember it later, but it's all over. Like Candy. Marlo said that she was going to make Candy earn her salary this year for holding a peach. I think they detonated her a little too early. Unless they want her coming in charging to the reunion.
Right.
Because Candy even mentioned, like, I do more for the community than all of them put together. I put my businesses in Black neighborhoods to give jobs. What are you doing? When you needed work, I got you a show on another network, and you made it fall through. Like, she brought up all the things.
Oh yeah, Funky Naiva said that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was on We.
The pilot was ready to go and everything. It was literally ready to go.
But Marlo screwed over the deal, and I think to come back as a friend on Atlanta.
Funky, if I recall, say she was being a diva. She was wanting too much. This, and that, and the whole thing just fell through. And it was her, and it was literally her own show with Kenny and Todd producing, if I recall correctly.
It was about her being a stylist in Atlanta, and the fashion scene and all of that. It would have been perfect for her.
It would be perfect. I'd have tuned in for that just to see like that part of Atlanta.
It's interesting, but yeah, I think things are gonna get hot.
Yeah.
But great dynamic with all of the ladies on the show, with the exception of Drew.
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna at this point, everyone knows how I feel about Drew, that I like her sans Ralph. So I'm not really gonna speak on her too much unless it's necessary, because y'all know how I feel.
What'd you think about the vibrating panty thing? Like, okay, give that out, but do not require the lady to wear it on the bus, and then you know that the control can control everybody else.
Right.
So did you think Marlo had a point telling her to tone down on the
a little bit, yeah,
the sex stuff?
A little bit.
And your husband saying he needs sex, but you giving everybody else vibrating panties.
Right. No, I agree with her on that. Bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, it was a lot. I didn't mind the gift.
Right.
But then to give, like, that call that she had with all the ladies, giving them instructions on what to do, that was kind of odd. And I wouldn't trust Ralph.
No, for sure no.
Because wasn't he buzzing Sonya's panties?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, yes.
That's so gross. So gross. Anything else in this episode?
No, that was it for me.
How do you think Sonya's fitting in?
I like her. I like I said, I like the whole group dynamic, except for Drew.
Okay. All right. So that is the episode, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 5, She by Herself. We're going to have a triple header today, so join us at the top of the hour. we're going over Beverly Hills, right?
If I recall correctly, it is Beverly Hills.
All right. So, guys, join us back then. Thanks to everybody in live chat. And thanks to everybody in our replay crew. We couldn't do it without you. All right, Jamal. Until next time.
Of course.
All right. Bye.